Well, the Texans, after meeting an early season end, the Texans still play in one of the best divisions, one of the easiest divisions to win in the NFL, AFC South. But can the Texans compete within the AFC?
Let's talk football.
All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the All Around Sports Podcast, where sports are everything on this channel. I'm your host, Antonio. Today, we are talking about the Houston Texans. The Texans, after meeting an early season exit to the hands of the Kansas City Chiefs um, in controversial way, might add, with the two plays that happened. But the Texans, they still play in one of the easiest divisions to win, but the Texans got a very difficult schedule ahead of them next season. But the question is, can the Texans compete within the AFC? I'm going to talk about this more in just a second. Before we get started, though, if you guys do enjoy this video, please be sure to do me a favor and smash the like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. But for now, let's talk about the Houston Texans. So the Texans, and before we get started, though, I do agree with some of the Texans fans on some of those calls in that Chiefs game. Those two were beyond out of line. Will Anderson did nothing wrong on that unnecessary roughness hit. He hit his own guy, and then that roughing the passer was also a little bit out there as well. Just want to throw that out there to start off with. But you ultimately got avenged by the Philadelphia Eagles, so that might make you happy. But the Texans, we know that the opponents are set up for the teams. The schedules have yet to be released, so I'm going to pull up the opponents that they have on my screen. They not only have to face within their division, which should be easy to win, they also got to face the AFC West and the NFC West, with the home teams being against the Denver Broncos, Las Vegas Raiders, Buffalo Bills again, the Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And for the AFC road games that you have to go on the road to, you have to go on the road to Kansas City and Seattle, which are two of the hardest places to play in the NFL because Seattle is loud. I'm telling you all that right now. But then they also got to face the Chargers, the Ravens, and the Rams. If I look at some of these games, I like the game against the Niners in your house because it's going to be a split stadium because the 49er fan base travels really well. But I believe the 49ers are a very beatable team next year. I would not be surprised if the Texans were able to beat them. But the Texans, the game they have against Seattle kind of has me a little worried because I know how good the Houston Texans are, and it'll be the first matchup with C.J. Stroud against this Seahawks team. We already know how good that rivalry was when DeAndre Hopkins was a part of that team in the early parts, when he was actually really good. But if we look at some of these games I can find really challenging for the Texans that I think could be ultimately statement wins are against the Denver Broncos, Buffalo Bills, 49ers, Bucks, Chiefs, Ravens, Chargers, and Rams. And maybe the Seahawks. We'll have to wait and see on how that goes because I'm not entirely sold on my team either. But the Texans, that game between Seattle and Houston is going to be really good. I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited to match up with the team. But the Texans, I like their team. They got a really hot stacked roster. They got a really good team on their squad. They got a lot of good pieces. You got CJ Stroud, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs. And the secondary of Seattle is going to be a very difficult challenge because I know that's going to be a little bit better next season. But I'm just saying right now, it's going to be a good matchup. I'm not expecting to win, but it's going to be a good matchup. But the Texans, I love their team. They're probably my second favorite team in the AFC. If I had to have one over them, I would choose the Bills. But of course, I'm hoping that they win a Super Bowl because their fan base has been through so much. But the Texans are my second favorite team of the AFC because the Texans, they are legitimately terrifying. They pounded up on the Dallas Cowboys. They're in division rival. I was really hoping that they would face against them again, just so they can pound them up again. But the Texans, I love their chances against the schedule that they have. But that Seattle game is going to be very interesting. Some of the games between those two teams, the Texans and the Seahawks, have been really good in the past, and I'm very excited for what that's going to bring. But the Texans, I do believe they can compete within the AFC. We'll see if they can do anything against the Kansas City Chiefs, and maybe, just maybe, you guys can make your first AFC title game. Maybe. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys think the Texans can compete in the AFC? Let me know why or why not down in the comment section below. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to do me a favor and smash the like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. But until next time, I'll see you all in the next one. Ciao for now.